said. So, like, for example, like, on the Israel-Palestine conflict, you called the Arabs, yeah, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to presume. Yeah, so, like, you say...
I've written several full columns about it.
Yeah,
I've talked about how people don't read the follow-up tweets. I wrote a column.
I've read some of the tweets, and the tweets were just as bad. I mean, you say a lot of things that are just, like, racist, right? But then if I call you a racist, then you defend it by saying, like, I didn't read enough, right? So that's what I was going to say before.
So give me my racist tweets in context.
Ben Shapiro's memorable moments against woke culture. Ben Shapiro, a prominent conservative commentator, has made headlines for his sharp rebuttals against what he terms woke ideologies. His encounters with students and activists often highlight the clash between traditional viewpoints and progressive beliefs. In this blog post, we delve into some notable moments where Shapiro effectively countered accusations and arguments from his opponents, showcasing his style and approach in debates. Confronting accusations of racism. One of the most striking instances of Shapiro's debate prowess occurred when a student accused him of racism. The student attempted to support his claim by referencing Shapiro's tweets, specifically about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Shapiro, undeterred, encouraged the student to consider the context of his statements. The exchange began awkwardly as the student struggled to find specific tweets to back his accusations. Shapiro's wit shone through as he prompted the audience to applaud his points, making the student's arguments seem increasingly flimsy. He stated, "You've already said that Israelis like to build and Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue." As the students searched for follow-up tweets, Shapiro seized the moment to present factual data and polls that illustrated the views held by the Palestinian leadership. He argued that the elected governments of the Palestinians have openly called for the destruction of Israel, further emphasizing that not all views are equal. Shapiro concluded by clarifying his stance on Arabs, stating, "There are many, many Christian and Muslim Arabs who are wonderful people, just not the ones who oppose Israel," outsmarting a self-proclaimed expert. In another memorable encounter, a student introduced himself as a mathematician and physicist, boasting about his accolades and questioning Shapiro's qualifications to speak on complex issues. The student, feeling confident, asserted that Shapiro's arguments were outdated and based on incorrect data. As the debate progressed, the student resorted to personal attacks against Shapiro, which only led to him being booed by the audience. Shapiro, maintaining his composure, responded to the student's claims by questioning his understanding of biology despite his academic background. "What in the hell do you know about human biology?" Shapiro asked, highlighting the disconnect between the student's qualifications and his grasp of the subject matter. Shapiro's ability to pivot the conversation back to logical reasoning allowed him to regain control of the debate, illustrating that credentials do not always equate to sound arguments. Defending views on abortion. During a Q&A session, Shapiro faced a challenge regarding his stance on abortion. A student argued that life is valuable based on consciousness and personal identity rather than mere biological existence. Shapiro engaged the student, attempting to clarify his position on the intrinsic value of life. The conversation quickly escalated as Shapiro pointed out the flaws in the student's reasoning. He queried, "If your logic is so flawed as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately." This sharp retort garnered applause from the audience, further showcasing Shapiro's ability to dismantle arguments with humor and logic. Addressing medical transitioning for minors. Another heated exchange involved a student questioning Shapiro's views on medical transitioning for children. The student accused Shapiro of labeling these procedures as child abuse, challenging him on the ethics behind such a stance. In a personal twist, the student asked about Shapiro's own children, specifically whether they were circumcised, implying hypocrisy in his argument. Shapiro responded with confidence, stating, "I'm circumcised, my work's just fine," which drew laughter from the audience and showcased his quick wit. Shapiro explained that while he respects individual rights, he fundamentally disagrees with the notion of irreversible procedures for minors, emphasizing the importance of parental discretion in such matters. His ability to maintain his stance while addressing personal questions highlighted his skill in navigating contentious topics. Confronting claims of inciting violence. In another instance, Shapiro was accused of inciting violence through his speeches. A student posed a thoughtful question about the potential consequences of Shapiro's rhetoric. Shapiro responded by articulating his belief that as long as he is not directly advocating for violence, he should not be held responsible for how others interpret his words. He drew parallels to other political figures, stating, "I've held the standard for Barack Obama when he was saying anti-police things. That's not Barack Obama's fault." This defense not only clarified his stance, but also positioned him as a proponent of free speech, even in the face of controversy. Defining wokeness in a debate. In a particularly bizarre exchange, a student attempted to label Shapiro as woke based on his family background and the historical trauma of the Holocaust. Shapiro, unfazed, engaged the student in a discussion about the implications of historical injustices. He pointed out that acknowledging historical trauma does not equate to subscribing to a woke ideology, emphasizing that wokeness involves attributing all current inequalities to past injustices. The student struggled to maintain composure as Shapiro adeptly articulated his views, leading to an awkward and ultimately fruitless exchange. Conclusion. Ben Shapiro's encounters with students often highlight the stark contrasts between conservative and progressive ideologies. His ability to remain composed, utilize humor, and provide logical rebuttals makes him a formidable figure in debates surrounding social issues. Whether addressing accusations of racism, defending controversial viewpoints, or navigating personal attacks, Shapiro's style continues to resonate with audiences, reflecting the ongoing cultural clash in America.